On this episode of Scotty's Garage, it is time to finish off our 12s for 2K Falcon. So this is it, the final episode before we take our 12s for 2K Falcon out to Heathcote Park Raceway and see if it in fact can run a 12-second quarter. At the moment, I don't have high hopes. I would have liked some testing before now, but it's just not going to happen. In fact, by the time you see this video, this will have already happened and you'll see the results next week. But yeah, we have our turbo mounted, our massive GT45 max speeding rod turbo is mounted up there. All the plumbing is done. We know it starts, we know it runs, but now I need to pipe up the intake piping. I need to fit a wastegate to it. What else do we need to do? Get the wheels and tyres on it. I have to do the back shocks. They're showing up later in the week, and if they don't, then I just got to walk down to a parts store and buy them. But hopefully those shocks show up. What else we got? I got some cleaning and tidying to do. Got to cut a hole in the bonnet. I've got to mount our race seat and harness, and then fit our wideband to it. See where the tune is at. I mean, there is a lot to do this week. Like I said, 5 days until the big day. Yeah, this is going to be a hectic week, so let's not faff about. Let's just get things started. Rightio, first up we have our wastegate sitting right here. It's from Max Speeding Rods. We talked about this back in one of the earlier episodes, and yeah, I got to basically mount that off our pipe running up the turbo here. So probably, I think the best way is come off this side, mount it there, see how that goes. So check it out. I was digging through the scrap bin at work and I found this piece of stainless pipe with a wastegate thing on the end, and it actually kind of sort of fits onto the outlet port of our wastegate. So we could mount it like that off the side, and then we've already got a little upturn there to keep it away from the windscreen. So how's that for a bit of a win? I don't know what value we put on that.
$1 million.
I'll use it. So I've got this pipe from the Carnage Workshop, again from our scrap pile. I mean, it doesn't look like scrap, but anyway. I only need about that much of it. So basically I'm going to come off the side of our pipe there. While it's not critical that the line is straight around this pipe, I'll just show you a tip on how to get a straight line around a pipe. Get a paper with a straight edge that you know is straight. Fold it around your pipe. Make sure the edges line up. And then draw around the pipe, following the edge of the paper. We have a piece of pipe. All right, let's mark it out and cut it how it needs to be.
No, that was like the greatest burp of my life.
Now that I've cut the pipe that way, I've got to kind of scallop it through the guts here, just so give a radius for it to sit against this pipe here. So we'll try a flappy disc on that, see how that goes. Yeah, that is looking pretty good. let's cut a hole in it. So we've made a hole in our adapter that kind of matches up with our pipe. Kind of, sorta. Close enough. But now we're going to weld our wastegate attachment to the top. So what we'll do is weld the wastegate attachment to the top first, and then weld that to the side, because it'll be easier to do it that way than the other way around. If we weld that to that, then welding the adapter to this is going to be a lot harder. So let's do this first. I was going to kind of cut this a bit shorter, move the wastegate nice and close and that sort of thing, but you know what? I have a nice straight edge there. Let's use it. You know, it'll be fine. So let's stick with it that way. All right, let's weld that to our wastegate adapter. And there we have it, our wastegate adapter, or the most hardcore bong you've ever seen. Look at it, it's crazy. All right, let's get it on the car, get this turbo on for the last time, get our wastegate mounted. Now that we've got our turbo and our wastegate fitted, it's time to do some intercooler piping. I've done a run into the Carnage workshop and grabbed whatever alloy piping I can find, plus some silicons. But what I should have done is ordered the $150 intercooler piping kit that's available on eBay. It's like all the pipes, all the silicon joiners, all the clamps. For 150 bucks, it's pretty good value. That's what I should have done, but I'm running out of time. We've got like 3.5 days till that I've got to have this car ready. So what, half a day today, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We are seriously running out of time. So I will see how we go. Also grab the hole saw from in at the Carnage workshop. I'm going to go down through the front of the inner guards here, run the pipes down. I've already got silicons hanging off the ends of the intercooler. I've done some clearancing under the front bar there to make sure that they fit properly. But yeah, time is running out, so we need to get this done. I think we're starting to give the budget a bit of a nudge too. So a few people have asked me, what should we do if we're going over budget? I said, well, the penalty is going to be for every $100 over budget you are, it's going to cost you 1/10 of a second. So if you go $500 over budget, you're going to have to run a 12.5 or better, basically. That's what it's going to come down to. And I'm going to put myself into that same category, I think. We'll see. I'm trying to keep it under budget, but it is becoming a bit of a struggle. And to be honest, that is part of the challenge, isn't it? So anyway, let's see how we go. Let's see how much damage we do to the budget here. So I've got a box full of silicons here from various projects. You can see they're like some fairly rough cut bits and pieces, and some clamps and stuff in there as well. We'll see how we go. One of the things I was lucky to find, where'd that go? This. I found this one. So this is 3.5 inch up the top and 3 inch down the bottom. It's a bit dirty inside, but for whatever reason they've made the outlet of this turbo 3.5 inch. I mean, look at the thickness of the thing. It is super thick, and it probably didn't need to be, but I'm hoping, yep, I think we're going to get that on there. It's tight. Come on, baby. It's so close. There we go. Oh. So I'm gonna have to whack a clamp on that. And then a pipe under there. I'll just borrow this 90 for the moment. So I'm gonna have to do some trimming. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go 90 here and then kind of another 90 down there to make this work. Okay, let's look at what we're doing here. So we could go there. So if we go there, that's too long. Need to cut that off down here somewhere. And then that in between. So that's got some flexibility to go there. If I shorten it. And all right. Yeah, close enough.
A few moments later.
So what time is it? 5 p.m. Well, that went smoother than it had any right to. So we have pipe work, so to speak. Not sure how much boost that tape will hold, but anyway, I think now that I actually have pipes, I'm gonna have to take them to Ben to weld, because I mean, what have we got? 3 days now. I don't have the time to learn how to weld aluminium tubing in 3 days with all the other stuff I need to do as well. And we're back once again. It is Thursday lunchtime. I've been running around all morning sorting out parts, getting some stuff, buying this lovely hat. But what do I do have? I have some parts, I have some vacuum line, I have some fittings, but most importantly, I got some pipes, and the pipes are welded. Yes, I know. That might not go down so well on Australia Day. Anyway, yes, I have pipes welded by Ben at Top G Fabrications. Look, I'm going to put $100 value on his welding of the pipes. It took him less than an hour, well under an hour really. He's welded these up. I've delivered them to him taped up, and he has simply just welded it together as I instructed, and it looks amazing. But yeah, I'm going to say $100 value, even though he didn't actually charge me anything. I did some social media stuff for him, and yeah, he's just a good guy. So if you need fabrication stuff and you're in southeast Melbourne, he's in Seaford, he smashes out stuff really quick, his rates are affordable, he does everything that you can imagine. If you want a 4-link in a car, he can do it. If you want a roll cage in a car, he can do it. He's worked for V8 supercar teams over many years. He's gone out on his own now, and he does amazing fast fab. Don't worry, the irony of having Australia Day stuff on an AU Falcon made and built in Australia, featuring so many performance parts made in China, is not lost on me. And there we have it, intercooler pipes. Now that we've got all the big jobs done, it's time for all the little jobs, and they reckon it's always that last 10% that brings you unstuck. Hopefully that's not the case here, because we got no time. It is Thursday afternoon. The clock is counting down. But I've had a delivery show up at Max Performance today, and I went and saw the boys and picked it up. It's a set of shocks from the guys at AAP, so Australian Automotive Parts. Let's open it up and have a look. So these are basically just replacement shocks. They're not performance shocks, so they come under, you know, safety slash consumables. Some people might disagree with that. I don't really care. I mean, we got the car given to us with bad shocks, so should me replacing the shocks with some standard shocks come out of my budget? I don't think so. But anyway, these guys saw that I needed shocks, and they reached out and said, hey Scott, we'll just send you a set. So here they are. Like I said, they're not going to be anything fancy, no 9010s or anything like that. Just good quality new shocks. These guys have supported us before in carnage and that sort of thing, so some stubby coolers too. Awesome. So we've got some fronts and some rears. I'm guessing it might be rear. So these are Ultima shocks. So we've got some rears, we've got some fronts. At the moment, I'm only going to put the rears in because I've got no time to be stuffing around. Let's get them in and make it work. Okay, so these should be the rear shocks. We've used these in a few of our carnage projects before, like the Trovo. I think the Lexan also had some Ultimas in it, and same with Superman. So actually, I think the Lexan had Ultimas in it when we bought it, but we put some in Superman. That would be accurate. But yeah, we have definitely used these before to good effect. So Australian Automotive Parts, look them up. They have a catalogue online. Right, well that's one in. For those playing at home, make sure you do not tighten up the bottom shock bolt until it is at ground level. So it even says it right there on the shock, will void warranty. So basically what happens is, if you have it at full droop and you tighten it up and you then lower it, it will tear the bottom rubbers, or it will tear the rubbers in these bushes. So you don't want to do that. All right, so got our bump stop, our washers. While there's no specific instructions, I'm going to assume that's for the bottom of the bumps, like so that's the bottom washer. So one of these will go on top of it. This goes down the bottom. washers, the washer goes to there, basically. That sits under there, just to stop you from bottoming out the shock. Seems pretty self-explanatory, I reckon. All right, take that off. Okay, let's do that on there, that on there. That stuff goes up the top. Little springy thing can go up there. All right, let's stick this one in. Tighten the tops, then we can lower it down, drop her on the ground, tighten the bottoms. Shocks are done and we'll move on to the next job. This has been a while. Okay. Oh. She's finally down on 4 wheels again. So while we're up the back here, I think it's as good a time as any to relocate the battery. So I've got this second-hand battery tray from the Carnage workshop. I'm not sure why it was second-hand, but it's definitely been used. There's some bolt marks on that. And then this battery clamp that was sitting next to it. So we'll throw them down in the spare wheel well, get our battery down there, and I've got some cable there to run to it as well. I'll work out what all this costs later, but yeah, I think we're definitely giving the budget a nudge now. But you know, like, it's literally a second-hand battery tray and a super cheap clamp that's been sitting there covered in dust for a long time. So I don't think they're worth that much. Anyway, let's get the battery in the boot. So, because we had to move it for the intercooler piping. Yeah. She doesn't start again. All right, let's put the battery there so we can start her up. All right, you. Maybe not quite like that. All right, this way up. All right, so we'll just drill some holes. There, and probably there and there. We'll mark it out and drill it. Once again, it has been a very busy morning chasing parts and just generally getting stuff done. I haven't been filming all of it because I figure I'll just talk about it instead. I have finished the battery relocation, so it runs and starts off the battery in the boot now, which is great. I've put a bung in our exhaust manifold, so no longer shoots flames out the side of the exhaust manifold. So those are good things. I bought some extra new clamps. Some of my boost clamps weren't as great for boost as they should be. I've got a bung here in the dump pipe that's ready to weld. Now, we're going to put the wideband in the dump pipe and not the exhaust manifold. A few people might say, oh, just stick it in the exhaust manifold, but Jason at TI Performance recommended that it goes in the dump pipe. Apparently they don't do well with pressure, and you will get a pressure build-up in the exhaust pipe between the exhaust valves and the turbine, I guess, you know. So pressure build-up will occur as air is forced to spin that big turbine wheel. So you want it in the dump pipe, and you've also got to put it up in the top side of the dump pipe. You can put it straight in the top if you like. That looks a bit ugly. I'm going to put it sort of at about the 3 o'clock mark, just so it's facing downwards. If you have them facing upwards in the bottom of the pipe, moisture can collect in the sensor, and that can screw with the sensor's readings as well. So let's not do that. Anyway, let's pull the welder over, stitch that up, get it on the car, and that's another thing to mark off the list. That'll do. Beauty. All right, what do we got there? All right, let's keep going. Right, well, last day today. It is Saturday morning, and so yesterday I did a lot of looking at stuff, and you know, I've got that wideband thing half in, but I'm still working on that. I decided to concentrate on the seat. I'd run out of time, and I thought I was just going to put the standard seat back in it, but then I found out the seat that the driver's seat I've got for this car is not actually the driver's seat for this car. It has electric controls, and yeah, we don't have no wiring for that, so the bolt hole positions are in the wrong spot to actually get the bolts in, and like I can probably power it and make it move and that, I don't know. But I'm just going to bolt the Kirky in it. I've bought some steel. I'm going to make up some mounts. It's easy to do that, I think. So we'll make up some mounts, get the Kirky in there, get the harness in there, and yeah, just make it happen. But yeah, we are down to the wire now, so heart's going a little bit fast. Anyway, we'll get it done. Let's make some mounts. Let's get this seat in. Let's get this thing ready for tomorrow. I'm going to go pick up a car trailer this afternoon, so load it up, get ready for an early start, because you know it's at least 3 hours to the track for me, so it's going to be a big day. Something like that. Let's have a look. All right. Is that too far back? It is. Oh. Let's see if we can scoot a little bit forward. So if we can get it somewhere like that. Right, let's see how we go. There. There. Alrighty, we've got some rails. Okay, now we can sit a seat on that and hopefully bolt it down and make it work. Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? It's hard to get into them when they're not bolted down. This will work. I might want to find out what that is. Okay, all right, let's bolt her in.
A few moments later.
Oh. All right, oh, that's up the butt crack. Oh, okay, I fit. If I sits, I fits. Okay. Feels nice and solid. Alrighty. We got ourselves a race car. Now I just need a race harness, which I think I got a box in the Volvo. Alright. Moving on. Okay, so I found some race harnesses. These were given to us by the guys at Raceworks a while back. This is before Carnage got the sponsorship with VPW, and obviously we couldn't use them then. So they were in a box. So now they're in this car. There we go, we have a race harness. Alright, another thing checked off the list. Okay, so now I need to drain the 98 out of the car and get some E85 into it, because that's one of the reasons it's running really rich at the moment. It's got an E85 tune in it and the fuel is 98, so we need to get some 85 in it, get that sugar rush happening. So I backed the car up on the ramp so I could get this fuel drum under there, loosened off the fuel line coming from the pump, run it into the line, shorted across the fuel pump relay, and allowed it to pump constantly fuel into the drum, which I've then poured into my daily driver. So now I've gone down and got some E85. Everyone says it calls it corn juice, but in Australia it's made with sugar cane, so not corn juice. Get in there. All right, we'll start off with this one and then we'll go get another drum. Okay, well, we're getting pretty close. I've got just a couple more jobs left on the list. I still haven't finished installing the wideband. I mean, the bung's there, the wideband sensors there. I've just got to run the wiring through, and I've got to power up the gauge and the unit. So they're quiet jobs. I can do them later if I need to, because I've still got a bunch of stuff to do. Well, less stuff. The major one though is cut a hole in the bonnet. And I don't want to be doing that in the dark. And I definitely don't want to be doing that at night with my neighbours and stuff. So let's have a look at that now. And then it's just wash the car, make sure the ECU's kind of located in place. Yeah, do that data logger. And that's it, really. I've got 2 drums of E85 in the car. I will probably fill it up on the way to the track at a servo, but I just wanted to get some fuel into it, so when I fire it up a bit later, I'll cycle that E85 through it and that sort of thing. But yeah, I want as much E85 in it as possible. I know, you know, people will be like, oh, you know, only run a half a tank, that way you're not carrying those extra kilos. Well, running them half empty is not always the way to go either. So let's just fill it up, run it that way. But yeah, let's do this bonnet. So, under that part, over that part. Okay. Job done. All right. Oh. I think it's time I go get a car trailer. So the big question is, will it run 12s for $2,000? Did we build it for $2,000? Well, let's talk about that next episode, because I think we've given it a little bit of a nudge. I need to sit down and work it out proper, go down the list, put all the proper figures in there, work it out. I think we're about 2,200, but don't quote me on that. I will let you know next episode. But even if it is 2,200, that is a pretty decent effort, I think. We have done all right. As for if it'll run 12s, well, if the planets align, and, well, let's face it, this is the week for the aligning of the planets, maybe we'll go a 12. I don't know. Maybe some of that gravitational force from all the planets aligning will drag me down the strip in a 12-second pass. I don't know. But I'm going to give it its every chance. We'll see how we go. And you're going to see that next week on Scotty's Garage.